Hey everybody. Hey everybody. It's Onville Legend 826 here. I wanted to give my personal thoughts about the 18th episode of the 4th season of Riverdale called Lynchian. Yeah, it was a pretty interesting episode, I would say, after the whole musical episode, the previous episode, and we also know Archie and Betty kissed, cheated on Veronica and Jughead, respectively, and of course, if you would ship Betty and Archie, I can understand. I don't agree with you, but I understand. That doesn't give them a right to cheat on their respective partners. That makes it absolutely disgusting, you know. But anyways, Betty and Archie are contemplating their thoughts about each other, apparently. Betty's looking through her old diary, She was writing that stuff when she was like 10 years old or something, old she was. And Archie, they showed young Archie and young Betty, when they were kids, when they were children. So that was pretty interesting to watch, seeing Archie and Betty interact when they were children and everything. Seeing Archie propose to Betty when they were only children and everything. I thought that was pretty hilarious to watch, interesting to see. Even if you don't ship Archie and Betty, you have to admit that part is definitely worth watching. But anyways, and also in the episode we also have Veronica and Cheryl doing their maple business, and all of a sudden these guys come in, that start destroying, they come in and threaten them, and then later, another day, more people come in to destroy their business and everything, and then Cheryl and Veronica are forced to cut ties with each other. It's sad to watch, honestly, but we should have known it wasn't going to last very long. At least, they ended on good terms, their business partnership and everything, but it was for the best, honestly, And, another part of the episode, Kevin and the tickle porn. Kevin has been an important part of the show since season 2. He was a supporting character in season 1, a recurring character. In season 2, he became a regular, and ever since then, the writers they don't seem to know what to do with Kevin. That's the thing that amazes me the most. They have all the screen time for Archie, for Veronica, Jughead, Betty, Cheryl, yet they can't even be bothered to give Kevin a decent storyline. They can't be bothered to give him a storyline, and this is the best they can come up with? Tickle porn? That's the best they can do? That amazes me to no end, honestly. That's really irritating. It's really sucks to have to watch. Okay, it's just unbelievable, honestly. That is the worst thing they could ever do to Kevin, honestly. It just pisses me off. But anyways, yeah. So Kevin and Fangs are working on their tickle porn stuff, getting money from it. And then Reggie apparently seems to have found out about this whole thing. Yeah, it just amazes me how the supporting characters from on the show, not the supporting characters, but I'm saying the secondary regulars on the show, are all involved in this tickle porn thing, and then Reggie comes in saying he wants a part of the tickle porn stuff. He wants in, so they agree to let him make videos with this Terry guy that they were working for. And then Reggie decides it's best to cut ties with Terry. And so then, Kevin tries to lay down the news gently. Of course, Reggie takes advantage of that, use it for their own benefits. They can have their own tickle porn stuff from the football team and the cheerleaders. It's kind of disgusting to think that this is the best they can come up with for Tony, because Tony was involved as well, and Fangs and Reggie and Kevin. It really is honestly saddening to watch, And then, of course, Terry finds out about this, and they threaten Kevin. They try to break his fingers, and that's pretty... Kevin is getting some more screen time. I at least be thankful that Kevin's getting some more screen time, but it's just torturous to have to watch, because Kevin is a lovable character who deserves so much better. It's just sad to have to watch, honestly, that they were trying to break his fingers, apparently. So that was obviously an obvious threat. They wanted 40% of what they were earning. 40%. And at the same time, we should also mention that Jughead, when Betty, in the last episode, there was this tape that was sent to Jughead about someone dressed up as Betty attacking someone that was dressed up as Jughead. And they watched the video. They tried to find out who was involved in all this. And... they figure out that Ethel Muggs might have some involvement, because Ethel, did have a crush on Jughead in season 3. And in the comics, the Archie comics, Ethel is obsessed with Jughead, And anyways, Jughead tries to confront Ethel about all this, but then Ethel tells him that she wasn't involved or something like that. But of course, Charles is still, suspecting Ethel. So of course they continue digging. They continue trying to find more information about Ethel and everything. Trying to find out more information about this stuff. And then eventually, Ethel tells the truth about what happened. There was this store that was selling all these tapes. And then Jughead and Charles stormed the FBI to take all the tapes from them, from that store. So it's really creepy how they're getting all these tapes and everything. You have a tape of Clifford shooting Jason back in season 1. So that was... yeah, so that's pretty interesting how they managed to have all this evidence stacked up in there, And at the same time, I have to notice something. Keep in mind that, at the end of the day, Hiram Lodge has never been likable. Okay, Hiram has done terrible things to the characters. He's done terrible things beyond recognition. But Hiram, I mean, I have to give him some credit in this episode. Some credit, because he at least tried to help out Veronica at least a little bit. A little bit, because Hiram didn't like the fact that these guys, these biker gang members, these mobsters were threatening his daughter. And so Hiram had to step in and eventually ends up shooting the guy to death. So while Hiram seems to be turning, in Veronica's eyes, seems to be turning over a new leaf, we all know the Hiram has always been Hiram. It's nothing new. They've always been like this ever since the beginning. Hiram has always been like that. There is nothing new whatsoever. This isn't anything new. This isn't some new concept. It's always been like this. Hiram has always been like this ever since he first came onto the show in season 2. You know? Non-stop father versus daughter drama, father versus daughter's boyfriend drama. What he did to Archie in season 3, sending the ghoulies to go after Jughead. I mean, you really can emphasize how serious this whole thing looks in perspective. It really does, show that Hiram has not really changed his ways. I mean, I'm not surprised that Hiram has always done this, because that's the problem with villains like Hiram. See, villains like Hal and Clifford and other people like them, they never give them any redeeming qualities or any time we ever feel any sympathy for them. We never felt any sympathy for Hal. We never felt any sympathy for Clifford. We never felt any sympathy for Penny. But Hiram is a different story, because we actually feel some sympathy for him. Some sympathy, because there are moments where we think that he actually cares about his daughter to an extent. Of course, every time they show him to be sympathetic, it's always overshadowed by all the wrong that he does. It's always canceled out by all the obnoxious things he ends up doing to the characters. So yeah, that was pretty interesting to see, though. Hiram trying to stand up for his daughter in some way. At least this wasn't something that, at least he wasn't responsible for destroying their business at the very least. Or maybe this whole thing was a plot by Hiram. Who knows? Maybe this whole thing is really him, like, scheming to get his daughter back or something. But anyways, at the same time, however, we also have Archie and Betty. Betty's reading through her diary, seeing old memories of Archie. Then Cheryl comes in, and she ends up reading a portion of it. And then she ends up, she says that her hunch about Betty and Archie having some feelings for each other during Jughead's supposed death was apparent. And then Cheryl says to Betty that she is in love with the idea of Archie, not Archie himself, because she wants to find someone that's perfect for her, and that person ended up being Jughead. So apparently everything goes back to normal. Apparently Archie goes back with Veronica, Betty with Jughead. Apparently, even though Archie and Betty cheated on Veronica and Jughead. But, that's a story for another time, apparently. Because you all notice that season 4 of Riverdale has been, because of the coronavirus, the production of the show has been canceled. It's been, postponed, so the episodes that should have been in season 4 are going to be made for season 5. So there's also confirmed to be a time jump in season 5, apparently, after the high school graduation. So I'm interested to see where this will go, honestly, how things will turn out from there. But it was a good episode overall, in my opinion. I thought it was a good episode, giving Kevin some screen time, even if it was a lousy storyline, and also, keep in mind that at the end of the episode, Mr. Honey told Tony, Kevin, Fangs, and Reggie to take down their website. After Reggie threatened Terry and his guys, then Terry must have snitched to Principal Honey, and then Principal Honey told him to take down the website. But we also noticed at the end of the episode that Principal Honey is going to that store where all the tapes were stolen by the FBI, which indicates that he has some involvement with that store, and that he definitely is something that we not some ordinary principal. So proves that Mr. Honey, in some ways, was no better than Mr. Weatherby. And anyways, I thought it was a good episode. So many things to cover in the episode. I thought it was decent, But yeah, those are my personal thoughts about the 18th episode of Season 4 of Riverdale, Lynchian. Tonville Legend, 826 out.